Hi friends, welcome to another RedditRev episode. Please subscribe and hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and please share it with your friends if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Also, please leave me a comment to let me know what you think of the episode. Now let's get started with today's stories.
I, 32F, cheated on my wife, 32F, and I feel terrible. How should I proceed? My wife Rita and I have been married for 4 years and we dated for 2 years before that. I mostly do freelance stuff from home and she owns a business with her best friend. Their business has always meant a lot to Rita, to the point where I sometimes think she has tied her self-worth to its success. When COVID hit and all the lockdown stuff happened, it hit the business hard. It took over Rita's life. She would spend a lot of her days there without coming home. Even when she came home, she was very tired and didn't have any time for us. This went on for months until things started looking up. But the next waves hit and the whole thing started again. Before this whole thing, we had a good marriage. We were open and spent a lot of time with each other. So when stopped spending time with me, it hit me hard. I was understanding and didn't bother her. I took care of things at home and looked after her. But even after her business started doing better, she still spent most of her time there. I tried talking to her about it, but she would spend a few days at home and go back there. I even tried taking her on vacation, but she was distracted and worried about her work. All of this left me feeling isolated. I felt like I was the only one putting effort into our marriage. Almost 2 months ago, I met an especially beautiful and charming woman at the gym. I don't know why, but I told her I was single. She asked me out for a coffee and I was swept up in the whole thing. 2 weeks after meeting each other regularly, she invited me back to her home and we had sex. The magnitude of the thing I did hit me the next day. I felt guilty and terrible. I decided that I needed to get a divorce. I stopped going to the gym and broke up with her. When I started getting things in order to file for divorce, Rita came home and told me that she hired someone to take over for her. She even booked a surprise vacation for us. She started spending a lot more time at home. I kept postponing my divorce after this sudden change, even though I still felt guilty. She started taking an active role in our life after almost 2 years and our marriage has healed significantly. I know what I did was terrible. I'm not defending myself. I don't know how to proceed now. The guilt is eating me every day. I'm so afraid of losing her when I just got her back. How do I tell her? Update. I confessed to my wife after my previous post. It was a very nerve-wracking process. I couldn't live with the guilt. She told me she knew about it already. The cafe I went to with the other woman was owned by a friend my Rita's. She recognized me and told Rita about it when we kissed. Rita told me that it was her wake-up call. She was worried about losing me and wanted to make an effort before she lost me completely. That was why she hired someone to replace her in a hurry and suddenly started spending more time with me. Rita was angry when I told her I slept with the other woman. I told her how guilty I felt about the whole thing. We both cried when I told her I was about to file for a divorce. I told her the whole story and how I felt. We cried a lot that evening. We started seeing a marriage counselor after that. The sessions and the healing process have been difficult, but the whole thing has made our bond stronger and reinvigorated our love for each other. We're spending so much quality time together and our marriage is in a way better place. Both of us are women BTW. My original post wasn't very popular and didn't get much traction, but I wanted to make this post because cheating doesn't have to the end of a relationship. I know I was the cheating partner and I have no right to say this. I wouldn't have blamed Rita if she had decided to leave me, but I'm happy that she didn't. Comment 1. I'm reasonably sure I know every single gay woman in my area and a hilarious number outside that area. I have been introduced by friends to people and had to say to my friend, you're introducing me to my ex, babe. This has happened more than once. I once got asked where I got some weed from. I said, from my dealer who is my ex, and was asked who it was and they said, oh no shit, I also dated her, does she still do, extremely specific thing. Hetero folks, you have no idea. If you've met a lesbian, there's an extremely good chance she knows every other lesbian around you. Comment 2. I think I could get over something 20 years ago if we were having severe issues then, maybe. I'm just not entirely sure I could trust that it hadn't happened again in those 2 decades, you know. Cheating, even in past relationships, is one of those things I can't stand whatsoever. I don't understand how people can glorify it or even enjoy it. I've seen a subreddit or two where people are actually proud of this and bragging about it. Sickening. Comment 3. I thought I could. I learned the hard way. I and my then fiancée had been together 2 years. One day she woke up and asked me if I believed in polyamory. I didn't understand what it was or what it meant till she explained it to me as being in love with more than one person. This other person, her boss. Long story short, it got way worse before it got better and we subsequently married. I never should have done that. The cheating was a worm that constantly gnawed at the back of my mind and we wound up getting divorced 3 years later, but not before an unplanned pregnancy and birth of my son. Comment 4. I never thought I could. I never imagined a position where I would even remotely be able to forgive until it happened. The mental state surrounding it was nothing I could have imagined previously. He deserved grace, and if we could rebuild the trust, then I was willing to try. So I forgave. I have not forgotten. But we have been working on it solidly and I don't get the sinking feeling when he's on his phone. Changes in routine sometimes bother me, but we address it together. It could easily have broken us. I am extremely glad it didn't. It's definitely hard. I don't blame others for walking away, and in most situations, people should definitely separate. But it's definitely more nuanced than I once believed, and there are very situational cases where, if they can try, doing so is the right call. I'm happy for OOP and hope they continue to be strong together.
I hope you enjoyed our video. It's always a pleasure creating these stories, and if you liked what you saw, please take the time to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already done so. Sharing with your friends is also greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of our videos. I'm all ears. Be sure to check back soon for more original Reddit stories every day on RedditRev. Until then, stay awesome, my friend.